welcome back to my channel. My name is Melly, and today we're going to be talking about my September TBR. I already went ahead and picked out all the books that I want to read in the month of September, so let's go ahead and talk about them. I have them all right here in this little stack. It's a pretty big stack, not little. So I'm just going to go from the top, and the first book that I have here is Tender as the Flesh. It's by Augustina Basterica, and I'm reading these together. This one's the Spanish version, and it's just called Cadáver Exquisito. It's the same book, but I'm trying to up my Spanish game, my reading Spanish game. So I'm reading this one first, and each chapter I read this one right after. So I'm really excited about that. I'm only on chapter 2 or 3, so I haven't gotten too far into it, but let me go ahead and see if it has a little blurb that I can read for you. So it says, working at the local processing plant, Marcos is in the business of slaughtering humans, though no one calls them that anymore. His wife has left him, his father is sinking into dementia, and Marcos tries not to think too hard about how he makes a living. After all, it happened so quickly. First, it was reported that an infectious virus has made all animal meat poisonous to humans. Then government initiated the transition. Now eating human meat, special meat, is legal. Marcos tries to stick to numbers, consignments, and processing. Then one day he's given a gift, a live specimen of the finest quality. Though he's aware that any form of personal contact is forbidden, on pain of death, little by little he starts to treat her like a human being. And soon he becomes tortured by what has been lost and what might still be saved. So it's basically about eating humans and him having a heart once he is given a special person, a human. So very interesting. I did pick up another book from her, but we're gonna start with this one. I heard it's a really good book. So I'm happy to be reading the Spanish and the English version, just because of course they're both different. I don't know which one was translated and which one actually came out first. I did not research that, but I would love to know that, because that'd be interesting just to know. That's the first book that I put on my September TBR. The next book that I put on my September TBR is I Am Not Your Perfect Mexican Daughter. This is by Erica L. Sanchez. It was a National Book Award finalist. I just love that cover. It's so pretty. This one is about a sister or a daughter. Her name is Julia, and her sister has just passed away. Her name is Olga. Olga's 22 years old. Julia is 15. Olga, the older sister, has always been like the perfect Mexican daughter, so they think. And Julia has always been the outcast. She's like a strong feminist. She believes in equal rights, and there's just been several things with her growing up that she just didn't understand why you would have to do it that specific way. And so she goes against a lot of that, and her mom thinks she's a rebel because of it. And so does her entire family, not just her mom. So it's just a book about being outside of your norm as a Mexican. She talks about how her parents are immigrants and she is first generation Mexican American. So it's really hard for her to kind of delve into that type of society, trying to please your family and your mother, who come from Mexico, and they're immigrants from Mexico, to be more Americanized, but still trying to appease your family. So very touching book. It's a very funny book too. I have really enjoyed it. Some of the phrases are in Spanish, and I love that. It's just kind of like dipping your toe in. You don't have to know Spanish to read this book, but very, very nice, cultural, and I love it. I'm excited to be picking up more cultural books and more POC books. I just think that is very important when it comes to reading, not just reading for a good time and a fun time. We also want to read things that make us uncomfortable and things that are currently happening, you know? So really like this book. I'm only on chapter 3, page 27, but I've already started. I think I've started almost every single one of these books, and I'll let you know if I haven't. But yeah, that's what this one is. The next one I have is the book that we picked out for my book club that I have on Patreon. If you're interested, you just have to join tier 1. We're on Fable as well. And this is called The Deepest Lake. This one is by Andromeda Romano Lax. I think that's how you say her name. It's about a mom and a daughter. So what is the daughter's name? Because I don't know her name. Jules. So Jules goes on some writing workshop in San Felipe, Guatemala. She is never heard of again. Her mom had texted her that week and Some islanders say that they saw her like swimming, and her mom's all like, that's not Jules. Like, Jules doesn't like the water. She's scared of the water, especially in the dark. A couple weeks go by and Rose is all like, no. They drained the lake, apparently. They did a lot of stuff to try to find her. They could never find her. And they were like, well, okay, the water must have, like, her body will probably never be found. And Rose doesn't accept that. Rose, the mom, is all like, no, I'm going to San Felipe and I'm going to do exactly what, like, I'm gonna follow my daughter's footsteps and see what happened and who did this to her, because she doesn't feel like Jules did this all on her own. She feels like there's people at fault, or that she could possibly have been murdered. And the police didn't rule it. They ended up ruling it just like a drowning, and she does not accept that. So she goes on this writing retreat to figure out what's going on. And a lot of mysterious things are happening, not just yet on the page that I'm on, but I really like the synopsis, and that's why I picked it for my book club. I am on chapter 3, page 25 of this book, so I haven't gotten too deep into it. Right now, Rose landed in San Felipe. She's talking and mingling with the people who are on this writing workshop as well, to see how the writer, like the main person who is throwing this writing workshop, how she picks these people. And she's now realizing that all the person cares about is money. She doesn't care if you're a good writer, because they're supposed to, like, you know, it's a writing workshop. They're supposed to help like hone in your memoir and what you're writing about. And Rose just found out that that writer doesn't care. She just cares about the money. So very interesting. I'm excited to continue this book. Let's go ahead and move on to the next one, because I'm very excited about that one too. So the next book that I want to talk about that I have on my TBR is The Briar Club by Kate Quinn. Literally, this book cover is stunning. I freaking love it. Look at that. Isn't that so cute? I love it. Love the greenery, love the gold. It goes perfectly in the little keyhole. Love it. So this is, I think it's like a contemporary fiction book or something. It's based around the 1950s in Washington, D.C. and communists taking over and things like that. This is like an all-women boarding house, and it just talks about every woman that has lived there. A murder actually occurs, and I don't know when we're gonna get to that. It was in the prologue at first, just talking about the murder and who they suspect was murdered. And I think they're going to try to figure out that mystery. But it does start off with a new tenant. Her name is Grace, and I don't think she's married or has any children. She's widowed. And then Hammer Pete is the son of the owner of the boarding house, and he doesn't get treated very well by his mom. His mom thinks that he's just gonna do anything that she says, and he doesn't need to go to school after the age of 15 or 16, that he can just drop out and be the handyman of the house. So I don't know how I feel too much about that. She's like very bossy, and she very much is just matter of fact, and I don't know how I feel about her specifically. Everybody else seems pretty calm and chill, and it seems like a really good book so far. I'm only on page 21. I'm not even past the first chapter. The chapters are long. Let me just say that. Chapters are very long. They're like 40 pages each or something. There are a bunch of like little recipes in this book, so I think that's really cool. There's like, the first one that I saw was the sun tea that we passed, and then the next one is the Pete's Swedish meatballs. So that's so cool that it has that, because it does talk about it. It's like a big thing in the book, so I really do enjoy that. So yeah, that is the next book. This is for my work book club that we picked out. Let me just say, I loved how we got together last week, because we read My Friends by Frederick Bachman, and I think, what time? It was at 6 o'clock. We didn't end up leaving until after 9. We just had so much to talk about My Friends and everything. One of the members ended up giving us like a goodie bag in regards to My Friends. I thought it was very sweet. She gave us this soap that smells like the ocean because of My Friends. So if you guys know, you know. Then she gave us like 2 bookmarks, and then there was, I feel like there was something else. I can't remember, but it was very, very sweet, very nice. So I'm excited to see what this book has to offer. The other thing too, we made like foods surrounding My Friends. I thought it was pretty cool. Someone made lasagna. You know, So cool, so cool. I freaking love that. That's the first time I've ever like had a friend group like that, and like doing a book club and reading, and we all just, you know, talk about the book. So I'm excited to finish this up, and we have our meeting at the end of the month. So that's very exciting to look forward to. Let's go ahead and move on to the next book. The next one I have here is Piñata, and it's by Leopoldo Gaut. Very, very cool. So I am going to read the synopsis on this one. I am on chapter 2 of this book. The writing is very, very tiny too. It's page 21. So I've read about 20 pages of each book already in the last 2 days. So this says, it was supposed to be the perfect summer. Carmen Sanchez is back in Mexico, supervising the renovation of an ancient abbey. Her daughters Isel and Luna, too young to be left alone in New York, join her in what Carmen hopes is a chance for them to connect with their roots. Then an accident at the worksite unearths a stash of rare centuries-old artifacts. The disaster costs Carmen her job, cutting the family trip short. But something malevolent and unexplainable follows them home to New York, stalking the Sanchez family and heralding a coming catastrophe. And it may already be too late to escape what's been awakened. So it did start off with like it kind of reminded me of the scene of like Christopher Columbus and like coming in and trying to make everybody into a Christian. That's kind of how this started, but it was with a tribe called Nahua. I'm sorry, I'm probably pronouncing it wrong. The name of this book is called Piñata, and it's because the colonizers came in and they told the Nahuas, they told them that they needed to break every clay pot with their sacrifices in them. I feel like I'm explaining this so bad. So they made them do it. If they didn't do it, they would unalive them. So it's very sad. It made me very angry. The first 5 pages, I was like in tears. I'm like, why the hell am I reading this? Because it happened to children, literal children. It's very, very sad. Like, how are you going to just convert someone who, you know, has had their beliefs? You just come and invade their property, you take over and you act like they're doing something wrong. Like, it's just very touching, you know. But that's what this book is about. I'm so excited. It is about the family. They do return to Mexico. Her kids are Mexican American and she's from Mexico. She just feels like she is not tied to her roots, so she brings her children along, and her children just, they're already Americanized. They have no sense of like their own culture, like their, you know, their half culture. It's kind of hard. Little girl Luna, she's a lot more open to like seeing what Mexico is all about. She learned a little bit of Spanish before she went. She was very excited. She's trying crickets, like she's trying like different snacks and flavors and everything, and she's like embracing it. Like, I love that about Luna. The other daughter, Isel, she wants no parts of it. She's like 16 years old. She just wants to hang out with her friends. She doesn't care about the culture. She's like, why would you uproot me to Mexico when I've never been here? So, you know, that's what this book is about. I'm excited to read it. My niece is actually the one that put me onto this. She bought it for my dad. Dad is currently reading it. Me and my dad are like simultaneously reading it. So that is very exciting to me because me and my dad can have like a little book club. He was talking about all the books that I have read because he is the one that's fixing up the rental house that I'm going to be living in a couple of months. I was telling him about my dream library, and like a little nook in my yarn room in the second bedroom, and then a little nook in the living room. So he has seen that and he's just like, ooh, maybe, you know, we can read. So I was just like, yes, we can read. So I bought this book and I told him I did. So we're both reading this together. We're going to read this month. So very excited about that, to just talk to my dad. Maybe I will get his live reaction about what he thought about this book. He talks a lot though, so it might be like a 20-minute segment, but yeah. Let's go ahead and move on to the second to last book that I have here that I want to read this month. Okay, the stack behind me has fallen. Just ignore it. Just ignore it. The next book that I want to talk about is They Bloom at Night. Look how beautiful that cover is. And then like the little, where are they? The little bubbles are like shiny. Can you see that? And this one is by Trang Thon Tran. Trang Thang Tran. Here's the name right here. I'm going to read the synopsis on this one because this one, I think I've only made it to like page 7. Yeah, page 7. But the writing, I feel like, is a lot smaller than other books. So I feel like I've read a lot and I know a lot about it. But let's read the synopsis because they do a better job summarizing than I do. So, there have always been monsters all around us. Since the hurricane, the town of Mercy, Louisiana, has been overtaken by a strange red algae bloom. So that's that red algae right there. Noon and her mother have carved out a life in the wreckage, trawling for the mutated wildlife that lurks in the water and trading it to the corrupt harbor master. When she's focused on survival, Noon doesn't have to cope with what happened to her at the cove or with the monster itching at her skin. Mercy has never been a safe place, but it's getting worse. People are disappearing, and the only clues as to why are whispers of underwater shadows and warnings to never answer the knocks at night. When the harbor master demands she capture the creature that's been drowning residents, Noon finds a reluctant ally in his daughter Covey. And as the next storm approaches, the two set off to find what's haunting Mercy. After all, Noon is no stranger to monsters. But yeah, I'm pretty sure this is Noon. Very interesting. We've already talked about the algae in the book. I mean, it starts off pretty cool. It like dives right into the story. There's like no like before, nothing. It starts off in the waters. So last book that I have on my TBR for September is actually a pretty new book. I think it came out last month in August, and this is called Too Old for This. This is by Samantha Downing. It's a really cool book because it's about an ex-serial killer. Let me just read. I'm telling you, I'm terrible at summarizing stuff, so I might as well just read the synopsis for you. So let's go ahead. Older, wiser, deadlier. A retired serial killer's quiet life is upended by an unexpected visitor. To protect her secret, there's only one option left. What's another murder? Lottie Jones thought her crimes were behind her. So Lottie Jones is a killer. Decades earlier, she changed her identity and tucked herself away in a small town. Her most exciting nights are spent at weekly bingo games at the local church and gossiping with her friends. When investigative journalist Plum Dixon shows up on her doorstep asking questions about Lottie's past and specifically her involvement with numerous unsolved cases, well, Lottie just can't have that. But getting away with murder is hard enough when you're young, and when Lottie receives another annoying knock on the door, she realizes this crime might just be the death of her. So, this book I have not started on. Ooh, I didn't even look to see what the actual cover looked like. Let's see. Oh, it's just black and red. All right, but yeah, that's what this book is about. I'm excited. I have not started this book. This book is a thick one though, but it has big writing, so I'm excited. It's 381 pages, so not too bad. I do plan on doing a weekly read with me. I think that's what you guys saw before this one. At least I'm currently editing that video, so that video should be coming out for August. I think I did a whole week with me, read with me, see if I can finish my TBR, which, spoiler alert, I did not finish my TBR, but I did finish like 3 books. I think that's good. I think I did good. So I may do another one of those because I really enjoyed it. I hope you guys enjoyed it too. I guess I'll see if it did well in the ratings, but on the views. That is the last book that I have on my physical TBR. Let me know what you guys are reading this month because I'm really curious because we are so close to October, which is Halloween, you know, fall spooky vibes. And everybody starts their fall vibes this month. So I am excited to see what we pick for next month. It is going to be like witchy and spooky and a lot of mystery thrillers because I am obsessed with like mystery thrillers. And I've gotten a bunch of new books. Look at this right here. I have a whole stack right here in front of me, and then there's like a stack back there. I don't know if you can see it. Tons of books. Thank you guys for coming on this journey with me, and I hope you guys have a good day. Please comment below, like this video, and make sure you subscribe so you don't miss out on a video that I post. I will see you guys later. Bye guys.